Mozambique is navigating heightened post-election tensions following the declaration of Frelimo's Daniel Chapo as a president-elect. Amid widespread protests, which have tragically claimed 277 lives since October, President Filipe Nyusi has firmly dismissed foreign mediation, advocating instead for internal dialogue and Mozambican-led solutions. We discuss the implications of the stance and the broader context of Mozambique's political crisis with Dr. Wilker Dias, an independent political analyst, and he's joining us from the Netherlands today. Dr. Dias, appreciate your time today. Now, what do you make of President Nyusi's rejection of foreign mediation in favour of a locally led dialogue?
Good afternoon. Thank you for that opportunity. So I don't think it's not necessary to have international help to that dialogue. It's very important to set in that negotiation or in that dialogue, we don't have one most important candidate. It's Venancio Mondlane. I think we don't have that person in the same table to try to discuss about the next step of our country. And this is very dangerous to say, because if you look, for example, the last meeting, we have only the candidates of the other three forces in the opposition, three or four forces in the opposition, and the three, it's for Podemos, Renamo, MDM, but we have one is from the representative of the extra parliament people. So that is the reason I said it's very dangerous if we don't have one person. And if you have that mentality to solve our problem with Mozambicans, it's very good. But I think it's not for now. It's not time for now to solve that problem, because the candidate, Venancio Mondlane, the person who called for that all demonstration, said the most part of time it's very important to have some actors to discuss. In our history, we have that registration, and for now I don't think we have that capacity to solve that problem, because maybe in the future we are put to left some things and we will see the conflicts or that type of demonstration one more time.
Are the current political tensions a reflection of a deeper systemic issue within Mozambique's electoral and political framework, do you think?
For now, the first thing, if you look for our local functions, when I say local function, it's the National Commission of Election is the first problem to try to solve in this whole contest, because in our composition of the National Commission of Election, it's one of this problem. And second, if you look, for example, to the political situation inside in the communities, it's also a very difficult or different like in the past. Right now, we have the other mechanism to have the information or share information about our local things or the local political situation. And we have in some part of our region the different type of the political problems. Yesterday, we saw some type of the pursuit of the Podemos party, the members of Podemos party. For now, it's one target of the attacks or political attacks. Some part of the people in some communities put a fire in the houses of the members of the opposition. For example, in Zambezia, in Nampula, and Cabo Delgado, we have some videos are circulated on the social media today. We have some fighting with the National Defense Forces with the Namparamas. Namparamas, it's one local group, or in the most part of their attacks, use the traditional magic to fight with the normal weapons in the other part of the government. So this is the other face of our political situation, and some things we need to try to help find some solutions to solve that all problems. And that is the reason I said I don't know if we have or not capacity to mediate that type of conflict, because we need some actor to mediate that type of conflict. So the big question is, who will mediate that conflict in Mozambique for now.
Well, we do know that South Africa, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has sent an envoy to obviously engage with President Filipe Nyusi. But it's almost 3 months, well, it'll be 3 months and a week since the October 9 elections of 2024 in Mozambique. And it doesn't appear, certainly in the views of those that are observing, a solution in sight. 277 people have died. Is this a case of the President Nyusi and his colleagues trying to control what they can by insisting on a localized solution? Because obviously, if you bring in external parties, then your circle of influence, if you will, diminishes.
I think it's in the other part, talking, for example, about one solution after 277 people dead, during this whole process. It's something curious, because during this whole process, we don't have any apologize from the government, any apologize from the commander, any apologize from the other actor, or one sensibility of the Frelimo party, for example. We talk about dialogue right now after the Constitutional Council said something about the final decision. It's not only the only actor who comes right now only. We saw, for example, on December 31, the SADC only now said it's very important to go to dialogue. We saw other international actors with big impact in our national communities to say only now we need to find some other way, and dialogue is the same thing. So the most part of that international actors waiting for the final decision of the Constitutional Council, and after that said we need the dialogue. But then it's very necessary to think the dialogue. The people, Mozambican people, necessarily need that interview. It's not only now, but in the 2 months ago, 2 months and a half ago, and we don't have any word about the international community in large scale like now. So it's something curious, and that is the reason I said this to set. We need to find one internal solution. Is something like to English to see, and not properly to solve that problem. Because if you look for the agenda of that meetings with the opposition, for example, leaders don't have any point to agenda. That is very curious, because in one type of the dialogue of in this dimension, it's very important to have one point in the agenda, but we don't have any point in the agenda. So that is the reason we said maybe it's the joke or something like that, because we don't see anything, we don't see anything, any concrete thing to try to solve that problem for now.
Okay, so finally, before we let you go, if we take a look at that dialogue that is being proposed, what are some of the issues that are likely to be discussed in order to achieve some sorts of civility, and obviously to do away with these continued protests?
So I think we have two important points to discuss if we go to one dialogue to try to solve that problem in Mozambique. The first point is the truth, electoral truth. We don't see anything at that point in the agenda. That is the first thing we need to say. The second thing, it's about the human rights debts. What is the person will give to that responsibility to that all casualties in our continent or our country? What is the person will see that the responsibility of that all people during this whole process? We have the people don't have any movement or lost that movement in the legs or in the other part of the body. And that people is the guarantee of the families to give something to eat, and etc. Who are the person will pay for this? The state, the other actors. So that 2 points in the agenda is very important to discuss for now, and we need to find one way to solve that problem. But it's not possible if you go to the dialogue without one very important actor for now. So we need to call that very important actor. It's of the opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, but I don't think it's not the only important actor. The civil society in Mozambique, it's also one very important actor because he made the observation right now the civil society is the only way if you need to, for example, to have the results or to have the number of the casualties or make that also if you need to search some information about the post-electoral. So it's very important to put that all actors in the same table and talk about the future, talking about the dialogue, talk about the ways to solve that problem. So I think we need that two ways. And for now, to mediate it, I don't think we have the internal capacity for this.
Okay, that's really that conversation. Dr. Wilker Dias.